All right, I'm your host, Jimmy Chen. Arr.
Hello, and welcome to my channel. I'm Jimmy Chan, your friendly neighborhood Holy Bible explainer. My channel is Food for HNM. We are reading Job 17. We're going to speed through it. Let's see how far we get. My spirit is broken, my days are cut short. The grave awaits me. Surely mockers surround me. My eyes must dwell on their hostility. Give me, O God, the pledge you demand. Who else will put up security for me? You have closed their minds to understanding. Therefore, you will not let them triumph. If anyone denounces their friends, for a reward, the eyes of their children will fail. God has made me a byword to everyone, a man in whose face people spit. My eyes have grown dim with grief. My whole frame is but a shadow. The upright are appalled at this. The innocent are aroused against the ungodly. Nevertheless, the righteous will hold to their ways, and those with clean hands will grow stronger. So, from verse 6 to look at 6, 8, and 9. Even though something has happened to someone good, it says the righteous will hold to their ways, and their clean hands will grow stronger. So nothing bad happens to most people, even though something happens to a good person. But come on, all of you, come on. So that's biblical. Come on, So seize that in the name of the Lord Jesus. All of you, try again. I will not find a wise man among you. My days have passed, my plans are shattered. Yet the desires of my heart turn night into day. In the face of the darkness, light is near. If the only home I hope for is the grave, if I spread out my bed in the realm of darkness, if I say to corruption, you are my father, and to the worm, my mother or my sister, where then is my hope? Who can see any hope for me? Will it go down to the gates of death? Will we descend together into the dust? Job 18. Then Bildad replied, when will you end these speeches? Be sensible, and then we can talk. Maybe it's like Star Wars. Remember Star Wars, the movie? When Yoda fought Guduku. His name sounds funny, like Dookie. They first fought with like throwing things, remember? So that's like this. They're going boop 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 boop. They're like prophesy battling, using words and prophesying and like singing and like Jedi mind tricks. So remember, remember I said they probably have daggers and they want to like stab them. And I said Job, even though he has sores on his body, he probably has a sword. He could grab it. So remember, in the Star Wars movie, when Yoda was fighting Dooku, they first fought by throwing things at each other, and then finally they grabbed their lightsabers. So I think that's the same thing. They're gonna do this, and then Bildad is saying, let's stop doing this and let's start sword fighting. When are we gonna stop speaking? And then it's like, so we can like fight with swords. Why are we regarded as cattle and considered stupid in your sight? You who tear yourselves to pieces in your anger, is earth to be abandoned for your sake? Or must the rocks be moved from their place? The lamp of a wicked man is snuffed out. The flame of his fire stops burning. The light in his tent becomes dark. The lamp beside him goes out. The vigor of his step is weakened. His own schemes throw him down. His feet thrust him into a net. He wanders into its mesh. A trap seizes him by the heel. A snare holds him fast. A noose is hidden for him on the ground. A trap lies in his path. Terrors startle him on every side, and dog person his every step. Calamity is hungry for him. Disaster is ready for him when he falls. It eats away parts of his skin. Death's firstborn devours his limbs. He is torn from the security of his tent, and marched off to the king of terrors. Fire resides in his tent. Burning sulfur is scattered over his dwelling. So fire resides in his tent. He's talking about nothing he had remains. His roots dry up below, and his branches wither above. The memory of him perishes from the earth. So these guys are kind of saying, I see that you're all alone, and maybe you're right. The one true God is busy. Seems like, to borrow a quote from another movie, it seems like he does not have your back right now. Because you have to watch my earlier videos. Sometimes the Lord, the one true God, the Creator God, the most blessed Holy Trinity, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, you can't see him, but he will fight up here, and then he leads the battle. So these Sith marauders, Arafafa, Bildad, and Zophar, these three, they see that he appears to have been cursed. So, maybe the one true God is mad at him. It's true that the Lord, right? He's in front of you. You have to follow after him. So they're like, there's no clouds or lightning. He's busy. He's not here. Well, he's always around, but he seems to not be here. Because in the past, you can't really attack someone that the one true God likes, because, he's always around, and then before you attack him, something will happen to you, or he'll hit you with lightning. Okay, changed my mind. But then it doesn't appear like the one true God is around, and he has nothing. His children aren't around. Seems like everyone has abandoned him. So Job was like a prince, And these three, but he is a prophet, like a Jedi. So these bad guys, they could be like Sith. They're like, now is the right time to try to kill him. The memory of him perishes from the earth. Verse 17, he has no name in the land. He is driven from light into the realm of darkness, and is banished from the world. He has no offspring or descendants among his people, no survivor where once he lived. People of the west are appalled at his fate. Those of the east are seized with terror. Surely such is the dwelling of an evil man, such is the place of one who does not know God. A verse is coming to my mind, evil thinks that they're good, and good is evil. So it's kind of strange. You're wondering why Job is good, and then his friends you don't know about. Why do they keep calling him bad or evil, and then keep trying to get him to say he's a sinner or that he sinned? Because let us look at this verse. From the Holy Bible. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet. This is Isaiah 5:20. So let's look for the NIV, the New International Version. The New International Version. NIV, the NIV. Isaiah 5:20 of the Holy Bible. The New International Version. Or the NIV or NIV. Woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness, who put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Job 19. Then Job replied, How long will you torment me and crush me with words? 10 times now you have reproached me. Shamelessly you attacked me. If it is true that I have gone astray, my error remains my concern alone. If indeed you would exalt yourself above me and use my humiliation against me, then know that God has wronged me and drawn his net around me. Though I cry violence, I get no response. Though I call for help, there is no justice. He has blocked my ways, so I cannot pass. He has shrouded my paths in darkness. He has stripped me of my honor and removed the crown from my head. He tears me down on every side till I am gone. He uproots my hope like a tree. His anger burns against me. He counts me among his enemies. His troops advance in force. They build a siege ramp against me and encamp around my tent. He has alienated my family from me. My acquaintances are completely estranged from me. My relatives have gone away. My closest friends have forgotten me. So he's like tricking them. Job thinks, oh, they think I'm all alone, so I'll just say, I'm all alone. Help me. Act weak. My guests and my female servants count me a foreigner. They look on me as on a stranger. I summon my servant, but he does not answer. Though I beg him with my own mouth, my breath is offensive to my wife. I am loathsome to my own family. Even the little boys scorn me. When I appear, they ridicule me. All my intimate friends detest me. Those I love have turned against me. I am nothing but skin and bones. I have escaped only by the skin of my teeth. Have pity on me, my friends, have pity, for the hand of God has struck me. Why do you pursue me as God does? Will you never get enough of my flesh? Oh, that my words were recorded, that they were written on a scroll, that they were inscribed with the iron tool on lead, or engraved in rock forever. I know that my Redeemer lives. And that in the end he will stand on the earth. And after my skin has been destroyed, yet in my flesh I will see God. I myself will see him with my own eyes, I and not another. How my heart yearns within me. If you say how we will hound him, since the root of the trouble lies in him, you should fear the sword yourself, for wrath will bring punishment by the sword, and then you will know that there is judgment. Job 20. Then Zophar the Naamathite replied, My troubled thoughts prompt me to answer, because, remember, Zophar is the dumb one, because I am greatly disturbed. I hear a rebuke that dishonors me, and my understanding inspires me to reply. Surely you know how it has been from of old, ever since mankind was placed on the earth, that the mirth of the wicked is brief, the joy of the godless lasts but a moment. Though the pride of the godless person reaches to the heavens and his head touches the clouds, he will perish forever like his own dung. Those who have seen him will say, Where is he? Like a dream he flies away, no more to be found. Banished like a vision of the night. The eye that saw him will not see him again. His place will look on him no more. His children must make amends to the poor. His own hand must give back his wealth. The youthful vigor that fills his bones will lie with him in the dust. Though evil is sweet in his tongue, and he hides it under his tongue, though he cannot bear to let it go and let it linger in his mouth, yet his food will turn sour in his stomach. It will become the venom of serpents. Within him he will spit out the riches he swallowed. God will make his stomach vomit them up. He will suck the poison of serpents. The fangs of an adder will kill him. He will not enjoy the streams, the rivers flowing with honey and cream. What he toiled for he must give back uneaten. He will not enjoy the profit from his trading. For he has oppressed the poor and left them destitute. He has seized houses he did not build. Surely he will have no respite from his craving. He cannot save himself by his treasure. Nothing is left for him to devour. His prosperity will not endure. In the midst of his plenty, distress will overtake him. The full force of misery will come upon him. When he has filled his belly, God will vent his burning anger against him and rain down his blows on him. Though he flees from an iron weapon, a bronze-tipped arrow pierces him. He pulls it out of his back, the gleaming point out of his liver. Terrors will come over him. Total darkness lies in wait for his treasures. A fire unfanned will consume him and devour what is left in his tent. The heavens will expose his guilt. The earth will rise up against him. A flood will carry off his house, rushing waters on the day of God's wrath. Such is the fate God allots the wicked, the heritage appointed for them by God. Job 21. Let's take a little break. Then Job replied, "Listen carefully to my words. Let this be the consolation you give me. Bear with me while I speak, and after I have spoken, mock on. Is my complaint directed to a human being? Why should I not be impatient? Look at me and be appalled. Clap your hand over your mouth. When I think about this, I am terrified. Trembling seizes my body. Why do the wicked live on, growing old and increasing in power? They see their children established around them, their offspring before their eyes. Their homes are safe and free from fear. The rod of God is not on them." Their bulls never fail to breed. Their cows calve and do not miscarry. They send forth their children as a flock. Their little ones dance about. They sing to the music of timbrel and lyre. They make merry to the sound of the pipe. They spend their years in prosperity and go down to the grave in peace. Yet they say to God, "Leave us alone. We have no desire to know your ways. Who is the Almighty, that we should serve him? What would we gain by praying to him?" But their prosperity is not in their own hands, so I stand aloof from the plans of the wicked. Yet how often is the lamp of the wicked snuffed out? How often does calamity come upon them? The fate God allots in his anger. How often are they like straw before the wind, like chaff swept away by a gale? It is said, God stores up the punishment of the wicked for their children. Let him repay the wicked so that they themselves will experience it. Let their own eyes see their destruction. Let them drink the cup of the wrath of the Almighty. For what do they care about the families they leave behind when their allotted months come to an end? Can anyone teach knowledge to God, since he judges even the highest? One person dies in full vigor, completely secure and at ease, well-nourished in body, bones rich with marrow. Another dies in bitterness of soul, never having enjoyed anything good. Side by side they lie in the dust, and worms cover them both. I know full well what you are thinking, the schemes by which you would wrong me. You say, where now is the house of the great, the tents where the wicked lived? Have you never questioned those who travel? So the wicked live in tents, and the great live in houses. So remember when Moses and Aaron and Miriam were, when we were reading about them, they did live in tents. But Job must have lived in a house. But maybe Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Maybe they also had houses. They had houses and tents. Have you never questioned those who travel? Have you paid no regard to their accounts? That the wicked are spared from the days of calamity, that they are delivered from the day of wrath? Who denounces their conduct to their face? Who repays them for what they have done? They are carried to the grave, and watch is kept over their tombs. The soil in the valley is sweet to them. Everyone follows after them, and a countless throng goes before them. So how can you console me with your nonsense? Nothing is left of your answers but falsehood. Job 22. Then Eliphaz said, he replied, can a man be of benefit to God? Whew. Maybe they try to bore him, so when they sword fight, he'll be slower. They're boring me. Can even a wise person benefit him? What pleasure would it give the Almighty if you were righteous? What would he gain if your ways were blameless? Is it for your piety that he rebukes you and brings charges against you? Is not your wickedness great? Are not your sins endless? You demand security from your relatives. For no reason you stripped people of their clothing, leaving them naked. You gave no water to the weary. You withheld food from the hungry. So you have to remember that according to Isaiah 5:20, people who are called wicked people or evil people, they think what they do is good, and they think that good people, what they do is bad. So the wicked are very bad. This is a wicked person. He says he never gives water to someone. He withheld food, like he will try to stop hungry people, like they're starving, from receiving food. Like if someone wants to come in, like in Israel, and bring food to people there on either side, they just want to bring food to help, then the wicked man wants to block that, or they send a missile and kaboom, blow up that food van. Though you were a powerful man owning land, an honored man living on it, and you sent widows away empty-handed, and broke the strength of the fatherless, that is why snares are all around you, why sudden peril terrifies you, why it is so dark you cannot see, and why a flood of water covers you. Is not God in the heights of heaven? And see how lofty are the highest stars. Yet you say, what does God know? Does he judge through such darkness? Thick clouds veil him, so he does not see us. As he goes about in the vaulted heavens, will you keep to the old path that the wicked had trod? They were carried off before their time, their foundations washed away by a flood. They said to God, leave us alone. What can the Almighty do to us? Yet it was he who filled their houses with good things. So I stand aloof from the plans of the wicked. The righteous see their ruin and rejoice. The innocent mock them, saying, surely our foes are destroyed, and fire devours their wealth. Submit to God and be at peace with him. In this way prosperity will come to you. Right? Accept instruction from his mouth, and lay up his words in your heart. If you return to the Almighty, you will be restored. If you remove wickedness far from your tent, and assign your nuggets to the dust, your gold of Ophir to the rocks in the ravines, then the Almighty will be your gold, the choicest silver for you. Surely then you will find delight in the Almighty, and will lift up your face to God. You will pray to him, and he will hear you, and you will fulfill your vows. What you decide on will be done, and light will shine on your ways. When people are brought low, and you say, lift them up, then he will save the downcast. He will deliver even one who is not innocent. who will be delivered through the cleanness of your hands. So Job 23. Then Job replied, even today my complaint is bitter. His hand is heavy in spite of my groaning. If only I knew where to find him. If only I could go to his dwelling. I would state my case before him and fill my mouth with arguments. I would find out what he would answer me and consider what he would say to me. Would he vigorously oppose me? No, he would not press charges against me. There the upright can establish their innocence before him, and there I would be delivered forever from my judge. If I go to the east, he is not there. If I go to the west, I do not find him. When he is at work in the north, I do not see him. When he turns to the south, I catch no glimpse of him. But he knows the way that I take. When he has tested me, I will come forth as gold. My feet have closely followed his steps. I have kept to his way without turning aside. I have not departed from the commands of his lips. I have treasured the words of his mouth. I have not departed from the commands of his lips. I have treasured the words of his mouth more than my daily bread. But he stands alone, and who can oppose him? He does whatever he pleases. He carries out his decree against me, and many such plans he still has in store. That is why I am terrified before him. When I think of all this, I fear him. God has made my heart faint. The Almighty has terrified me. Yet I am not silenced by the darkness. By the thick darkness that covers my face. Job 24. Why does the Almighty not set times for judgment? Why must those who know him look in vain for such days? There are those who move boundary stones. They pasture flocks they have stolen. They drive away the orphan's donkey, and take the widow's ox in pledge. They thrust the needy from the path, and force all the poor of the land into hiding. Like wild donkeys in the desert, the poor go about their labor of foraging food. The wasteland provides food for their children. They gather fodder in the fields and glean in the vineyards of the wicked, lacking clothes. They spend the night naked. They have nothing to cover themselves in the cold. They are drenched by mountain rains and hung the rocks for lack of shelter. The fatherless child is snatched from the breast. The infant of the poor is seized for a debt. Lacking clothes, they go about naked. They carry the sheaves, but still go hungry. They crush olives among the terraces. They tread the winepresses, yet suffer thirst. The groans of the dying rise from the city, and the souls of the wounded cry for help. But God charges no one with wrongdoing. God charges no one with wrongdoing. So Job did not do the wrong thing by charging God with wrongdoing. There are those who rebel against the light, who do not know its ways or stay in its path. When daylight is gone, the murderer rises up, kills the poor and needy, and in the night steals forth like a thief. The eye of the adulterer watches for dusk. He thinks, no eye will see me, and he keeps his face concealed. In the dark, thieves break into houses, but by day they shut themselves in. They want nothing to do with the light. For all of them, midnight is their morning. They make friends with the terrors of darkness, yet they are foam on the surface of the water. Their portion of the land is cursed, so that no one goes to the vineyards. As heat and drought snatch away the melted snow, so the grave snatches away those who have sinned. The womb forgets them. The worm feasts on them. The wicked are no longer remembered, but are broken like a tree. They prey on the barren and childless woman. And to the widow they show no kindness. But God drags away the mighty by his power. though they become established, they have no assurance of life. He may let them rest in a feeling of security, but his eyes are on their ways. For a little while they are exalted, and then they are gone. They are brought low and gathered up like all others. Yeah, I remember. You know, some people know about something like consciousness and awareness. I think when you are more conscious, there's something like, there's like the super conscious, or there's like a higher consciousness. You're less sleepy. I think that's a good way to feel, or like, when you're using your eyes and you're there, right? You're conscious. I'm awake, right? When someone knocks you out, you're knocked unconscious. So when you have higher consciousness, we're talking about like these mind powers, like pull and read. You are like more awake. You have more energy, and somehow you're looking around more. Yips. So remember, higher consciousness is like you have more of a ability. That's our word, ability to like know and pull and read. To read. Sometimes some people can sense. I perceive things. Jedi perceive. So verse 22, but God drags away the mighty by his power. Though they become established, they have no assurance of life. So the mighty humans, or just those of us who are here, on the planet, that are strong, it doesn't mean that you will go to heaven. You'll go to heaven, or that you will live on. Get that life after death. That when you die, that could be it. Because everyone dies. Because sometimes when you're so strong, you never think that, one day you're gonna get old and die. And when you're mighty, there's many people around you. They think, he's a hero. But one day, again, you'll become weak, and like everyone will run away from you. Like, where is everybody? He may let them rest in a feeling of security, but his eyes are on their ways. For a little while they're exalted, and then they're gone. So, these Jedi mind tricking these guys. Think you're strong right now. You ever think of that? One day you'll be weaker and old, and people, you are like something like popular. Everyone will run away from you, because it's just all it is your strength that they're attracted to. You always have to like prove to be them. You always have to stay this strong, and you do things in your own strength. But once you start to slip, people are gonna like laugh at you and criticize you and jab at you and maybe stab you in the back and run away from you, leave you, or charge you more, because you're wicked, He may let them rest. The one true God may let you have some phony feeling of security, but his eyes are on your ways. He doesn't like the way you do stuff. For a little while they are exalted, and then they are gone. So Job was just kidding. He was saying, why is it that the wicked, they have everything that we have? He's saying here, I tricked you. Because you only have that for like this long. Job was like, for my entire life, I was Job. And then right now, I don't have anything. But I know, remember you have to watch earlier video. He's seen all kinds of things with his own eyes. He's like, aha, I won't out you guys. Eliphapha, Bildad, and Zophar. You look great. You look almost, each of you, to the untrained eye, each one of you look as great as me. You know, like there's 3 of you. That makes you guys 3 times as good as me. But you whippersnappers, I remember when you were nobodies, you know. Like right now, you look good. See, they're exalted for this long. So people, you know, they never know if people are lying to them. You know, they see someone great. Were they always great? They probably weren't always great, you know. Maybe they're only great for like 3 years and they live to 80. So like for 77 years, there were nothings and nobodies. And they borrowed all the money to look that great for those 3 years, and just faking it till they make it. And they're like, hey, is everyone buying it? You know, I hope people write this down. Film me. You know, it lasts longer to be them. So I could trick people that I was always this great. You know, I took out a loan, $1 million. To trick people so I could feed my pride, you know. But Job, he's always great. Always great. And now, you know. So maybe Job is like 77, and those guys are each 80 years old. And for 77 years, he was great. And those guys each were only great for like 3 years each. So for 9, you know, 3 times 3, 9. So those 3 were only that great for 9 years. But Job was great for 77 years. He's greater. He's better. They are brought low and gathered up like all others. They're cut off like heads of grain. If this is not so, who can prove me false and reduce my words to nothing? Okay, thank you for listening. That was Job 24. Remember, keep God first. Take your places, believe in the Lord Jesus.